Oh, I'm live. I didn't know I was live. Okay. Luckily, I didn't have my finger in my ear or anything. Okay. Not that I do that. Okay, I'm just waiting for my TikTok audience to turn up because my audience really is on TikTok. I've got a few followers here on, I've got some followers here on YouTube, but not enough to do a live. So, okay, I'm just waiting here. Hello, Can to US. I was Can to Australia to Can. So yeah, if I could live anywhere in the world, my top two are Canada and Australia because I've lived in both for more than 20 years. Love them. And then third would be the US because I feel very, like we're so similar, right? I just feel comfortable. That's all. I like it. I like all three countries. New Zealand's pretty good too. And then, no, yeah. Okay, my favorite live to watch. That's very sweet. I don't watch any lives. I wouldn't even know how to do that. So I don't know anything about TikTok. Anyway, I'm just waiting for people to turn up while I'm waiting because I wait till I get about 100 in here before I get going. So while we're waiting, I'd love to know where you're from. I'm here in Vancouver, Canada, and you know I love to hear where you're from. So I get a lot of people who turn up frequently. So I see a lot of familiar faces, which is always wonderful. I really appreciate the support. I just get the best people on here. I can't even tell you what this means to me. Like just to be able to share this message, which is everything, this parenting method, because I want you to enjoy parenting, raise happy kids, all that. I want everything to go great for you. So, and then just the support that I get and the feedback, it's just wonderful. Very grateful. I might have to run if something comes up. Sorry. I got clients. I haven't got any appointments, but sometimes something big comes up with a client, so I always jump. San Diego, California, been there, went to the zoo when I was 11. That was the only time I've ever been to San Diego. I was 11 years old. It was great. I remember the giraffes. I remember they were so much taller than I had imagined. That's my memory of San Diego, and gorgeous weather, of course. Okay, so where are you from? I'm here in Vancouver, Canada. We've only got like 20 people here so far. I wait till I get about 100. What time is it? Yeah, I don't know what. It depends. I know when I get my biggest numbers, but I'm not usually available at that time, or I don't want to do it at that time because it's late and I'm not good at night. So, I used to live in Birch Bay, Washington, less than an hour drive to Vancouver. I know exactly where Birch Bay is. I used to go down there quite frequently. Don't you have a water slide park there? Or is that Bellingham? I know I used to go down to Birch Bay, but I can't remember where I used to go for the water slide park. We used to just drive down there. That's back in the day, back in the 80s, when you could just hand over your driver's license to get through the border. Now it's a bit different. Okay, so I'm still waiting for people to turn up. Now in Arizona, excellent. Never been there. I don't know. No, I mean, I've never been there. I don't know where I'm going to go. I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling one day. I just haven't started. I'm really busy with work right now, but when things are different, when I'm older, I'll probably really go traveling. Okay, so I don't usually answer questions so quickly because I'm just waiting for people to turn up. But can you put no disrespect on board? Absolutely not. That's absolutely ridiculous. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to be so blunt. I am blunt. Sorry, but yeah, it would be like saying be nice. It would be like saying to you if someone said to you, stop being annoying. Like it's just too big. It's too broad. So sorry, I said that's ridiculous. I wish I had a filter from here to here. Luckily, I'm a decent person, so nothing horrible ever comes out. But at least you know I'm honest. What you see is what you get. Because I ain't got no filter. I'm the same everywhere I go, good or bad. Take it as you will. Okay, so okay, we've only got like 34 people. It's been about a minute, so I'm just going to get going anyway. Might pick up. I usually wait till I get about 100. But that's okay. Just different times of the day. I'm not usually on at this time. Anyway, doesn't matter. 38, 40, that's great too. I'm not complaining. I just don't like to get going until I've got the bulk of the people on. Okay, so my name is Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go on my website, it's bratbusters.com. You can download my behavior board, or I'm saying everything backwards. You can hire me for coaching, buy one of my courses, or download my behavior board. What makes that different is you're on it too. That behavior board has parents on there too. The kids get to punish you too. In other words, you're accountable too. How can you just expect it to be a one-way street? They're accountable. They respect you. It's got to be give respect to get it. That's my whole theory around this is you got to give to get. You got to earn that respect. You got to work for it. Once you get it, maintaining it's easy. Getting it is hard work. Okay, I got respect when my kids were tiny. They were about 3.5, and then it was just maintenance, literally right through the teen years. There's, of course, little hiccups along the way, but not much. Okay. Oh, how does this work? Do we just ask and you answer? Yeah, I get to as many as I can, and I sometimes flip over questions if I think they're repeats, and I try and mix up the ages and the questions. So also I get vertigo when I go backwards. So if I have to scroll backwards, I get dizzy. So I miss a lot of questions. Someone actually said to me, they were really getting mad, and they were on here a few times. I think they've tossed me to the curb at this point, but they kept saying, you keep ignoring my questions and I know it's on purpose. And then other people went, LOL, LOL. I'm not ignoring anyone on purpose. I'm just trying to mix up the ages and the questions. Okay. Okay, let's get going here. I feel really bad about that. No disrespect that I said. Oh God. Oh well, regrets. I always say I don't have regrets. I really don't. I've just learned a lesson. There you go. There you go. That's better. Okay. Can you put no hurtful words? What can you put if they're disrespectful? You got to earn it. You put, okay. Such a good question, actually, because you want to know how you get respect. You don't demand it. That's demanding it. By the way, you respect me. That's the old authority style. You respect me because I'm your parent. It doesn't work that way. You got to work for it. My behavior board teaches you how to put a rule and a consequence for everybody. By about week 3, you'll have 3 different behavior boards up and running. That gets you respect. That's how you get it. Start with my behavior board. It's free on my website. It will always be free. That behavior board, I invented that. I started coaching parents 17 years ago. The first year I didn't have a behavior board because I've never used one. So I don't know why, I just wasn't thinking. So then I thought, well, I was getting results for the parents, but it was nowhere near like I wanted for them. And they just couldn't understand you got to give respect to get it. Then I invented that behavior board and put the parents on there too, and everything changed. 16 years, I have not changed it in 16 years. So yeah, that's how you get respect. Start with the behavior board. It teaches, there's lots of different ways. I never used one, but it's my best teaching tool. I have not changed that in 16 years of coaching. So it just works. My 3-year-old's on energy level 10 all day. He is getting in trouble at daycare and hitting suggestions. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Does he have a hyperactivity issue? Are you meeting his needs? And managing his wants is the discipline, but are you meeting his needs? Does he get enough activity, physical activity? Going to the park and pushing a kid on a swing is not activity. Running around a swing set is. So yeah, I would just maybe feed his hyperactivity, his energy, feed it more, potentially. But does he respect you at home? If he doesn't respect you at home, he's not going to respect anyone else either. Generally, although sometimes they will respect the teacher because the teacher is really good at getting it, and then they're not respectful at home. But it's never the other way around. If children respect their parents, they never disrespect anybody. It's just the way it is. But they can respect other people and not you. Did that make sense? Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm not sure if it did. In my head, it did. Okay. Let me see here. How can I stop biting? I'm assuming your kid's doing that, not you. Toddler. Okay, I have a whole course on that. It's toddlers who bite, kick, and that. If you're interested, it goes into great detail. But basically, it's consistent corrective action. Every single time they do it, you say one word. You say no, and then you have a corrective action. You take a toy away, remove yourself, remove them. Don't do timeout. I hate timeout. But you just sort of give distance between you and whoever they just bit, and you keep them away. You can restrain them from getting to that person again. So yeah, they eventually learn. They just do. They learn through repetition. They don't learn once. If you do it 100 times, then they might learn. But yeah, they don't learn quickly. They're tiny. They're tiny human beings. They're just learning. They're just forming, okay? They've got like one marble and a tumbleweed in here. They're just forming. They're brand new, fresh human beings. Sorry, I'm just starting something up here. When I'm doing a live, I've got 2 lives going here. I've got YouTube and TikTok. Everything slows right down whenever I'm doing a live. Okay. Natalie, I've been listening to my teen and not giving my option and trying to fix stuff, and she is talking more. I've been listening to my teen and not giving so in other words, you've been listening to understand, not listen to gather information to lecture with, like I say. right? And not giving my option, trying to fix stuff. And she is talking more. So I'm assuming what you're saying. I think English might be your second language there. Good for you I mean, I'm still working on one language. I can't imagine speaking two. Anyway, I'm assuming what you're saying, and I'm just going to go with this, is that because I often talk about this, the best way to listen, the two best, most important skills with parenting teenagers, number one is listening. You listen to understand and show empathy. You do not listen to understand and you do not listen to gather information to lecture with. You listen to understand, you go, yeah, that would be frustrating, and then shut up. Just shut up. I know it's hard. If they want your advice, I guarantee they will ask for it. They will. Sometimes they just want to get stuff off their chest. They usually already know what you're going to say anyway. They're not stupid. Okay, so then what you're saying is she's talking more. That's what encourages them to talk. You want to be a safe place to land. You're a safe place to land when you're not going to nag them and lecture them on what they should be doing. No one likes a nag or a lecturer, right? None of us do. So anyway, so I'm assuming that's what's happening. Yeah, it just works. It's just one of those things. The second most important skill when you're parenting teenagers is to negotiate. You negotiate everything. This is what I want. What do you want? Let's meet in the middle or somewhere. That's how it goes. Teenagers, I always say you're a leader when your children are little. They want to please you. That's what you want. You want them to want to please you when they're young. When they get older, you want them to be their own leaders because you're guiding them into making good choices. You're disciplining them so they have self-discipline. How can you expect anyone to have self-discipline if you've never even disciplined them? How do they know anything about discipline? They do it themselves once you get good at this. And it's leadership. It's not the authority, you do my way or the highway. It's through here's your choices. You can do this or that. And I used to say to my kids all the time, okay, I didn't say it all the time, but I exaggerate. Anyway, I'm constantly exaggerating. Anyway, I used to say to them, if you're good, life is good. If you're bad, life ain't so good. I'll make sure of it because I'm your mom and that's my job. So I made them very accountable and they just got that. There was no issues. They never argued with me or anything. It was just easy because they understood accountability. What do you do about children that are very, you're not going to like my answer, that are very independent to the extent many call them controlling? You're not going to like this answer. It's often a learned behavior, so you might be that way, or you're the pleaser and you've given into them. It's two extremes there. Are you controlling or are you a dish rag? God, wish I had a filtering system. That's horrible. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. Do they walk all over you? Do they wipe their feet on you? You know what I mean? Like, think about it. Do you allow that? Okay. So that's what builds that. Generally, it's one or the other. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I've been doing this for I've been doing this for 17 years now. So that's what I've seen. Controlling, bossy kids are either raised by a bossy parent or they've been walking all over their parents. It's one extreme or the other. You are beautiful. Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate that, but I'm not, I'm in my 60s now. I've had my day. I've had it. I used to walk down the street and workmen would always catcall. I've had my day. In my 60s, I'm just thrilled that I'm not breaking a hip. You value different things in yourself when you get older. Like looking in the mirror is not my thing. Now it's all about how am I serving people? How am I helping people? Do I feel enriched? Do I feel satisfied that I'm helping people? You just change as you get older. Your value system completely change. So yeah, that's wonderful, but I've had my day. I'm quite happy with that. Can we consider 3-year-old toddler? I don't call, so I have to turn my heat down. I'm sweating here. Just a sec. I don't really know what a toddler is, but I do it this way. Baby is up to 1 and 2 years old is a toddler, 3 and 4 is preschooler, 5 to 8 is a school age, 9 to 12 is tween or preteen, 13 to 18 is a teen, 19, even they're usually out of school at that point, so it's a little bit difficult. But anyway, that's how I do it. Haha, I did break my hip. Sorry about that. Yeah, your priorities change. I am obsessive with fitness and health. I'm obsessed with it. I'm going to fight aging. Like, I don't want to live a long time. I want to live a long, good time. Like, I want to be really active, right? I want them to write me up in the newspaper when I'm 99 because I'm still going to the gym. That's my goal. That's my goal. So yeah, everything's sort of weird. I've always been into fitness, but probably more so now than ever because I have to work around old lady injuries. I've had so many injuries and surgeries in my life. So yeah, you can always come back, by the way. You can always come back from surgeries and from health things, unless it's something horrible. But generally, you can always come back from that. How to handle 20-month-olds screaming at the dinner table. Ignoring doesn't work. Yeah, just okay. I have too many. Whenever I get too many ideas, too many ways of going at this, I get like flabbergasted here. So let me get control. I'll just go with this one. Let's say if my kids were sitting at the dinner table, they were 20 months old and they were screaming, I would say no, and I would take their food away. And then I would wait maybe, let me think, maybe 10 to 15 seconds. And then I would hand it back. As soon as they screamed, I'd take it away again. Just do it like that. It's like consistent corrective actions. They learn through repetition. Don't bother doing the mini therapy sessions. They are not listening to you. They're watching you. It's all about actions. These mini therapy sessions, they're going to be the death of me. They drive me insane. They're so trendy right now. That's why. And they're just such a waste of time. Sorry, I've got so many different things open. I'm getting messages right, left, and center. Got to focus. Okay, good question because of the way you worded it. My teen is failing her classes. How do I motivate her? I don't give a crap about motivation. I give a crap about action. You don't get motivation and then action. You get action, then that leads to motivation. Think about it. You have to start something and then you just get on a roll. That's what you want to do. I would say something like this. Look, you're failing your classes. That can't happen. I want you to graduate. So this is, we're going to set up a system where I'm going to get you to do your homework every night. And maybe an hour a night, you're going to be doing homework or schoolwork. And I'm going to hold your phone while you're doing that. But I respect that you want your music. So I might have your phone playing your music. And it'll be somewhere over here, but I'll be around and I need to be able to see your screen. And then say, okay, does that sound fair? And then see what your teen says. And then if they say no, say, okay, let's negotiate. What do you want to do? So you see how I started out, you're going to graduate. It's going to happen. You're going to graduate. So here's what we're going to do. Here's my idea. Here's what we're going to do. You see how I did that? Negotiate. It's like a business transaction. There are no emotions whatsoever. None. You discipline or you handle these type of situations with your head, not your heart. The rest of the time, it's all heart. But when you're disciplining or managing something like this, if they're failing school as a teenager, it's all head. And then you're working with them. But don't try and motivate. Just get the action going. And then that sort of snowballs from there. But yeah, action comes first, then motivation, not the other way around. Okay, someone on YouTube. I mean, I hardly ever get anyone on YouTube because I'm all on TikTok. Okay, Charlotte Fluff. That's cute. I've given many therapy sessions in the past with my 3-year-old. I'm changing my ways and started behavior board, but do I ignore her when she goes on? But do I ignore her when she goes on? You mean arguing? Yeah, sort of. Like, I don't quite know what you mean. I'm going to set up a scenario, so hopefully this will answer your question. Okay, I'm looking at YouTube. Sorry. Anyway, so let's say you've got a child on the behavior board. They're 3 years old, and you said the rule is this. So then you say, okay, you broke the rule. Now let's go to the behavior board. You always refer back to the behavior board. Treat it like law. It's a reference center. It's up in a high-profile area. Everyone sees it all the time. Okay, you broke that rule. Let's go to the behavior board. The rule was put your dirty clothes in the hamper, something like that. You didn't do that, so the consequence was you're going to help with laundry. Now, that child goes on and on and on and on and on, okay? On and on and on and on and on, keeping at you. This is what you do when they're talking at you. So you're at the behavior board, you just said that, and then when they're talking, you go like this. You're acknowledging that they're speaking, but they interrupted you. So as soon as they stop talking, you go back to the behavior board. So that's going to start tonight. And then they start at you again. You can go like that. If it goes on to, this one's only 3. Okay, they don't always necessarily get this at 3. So at that age, you just say, okay, that's enough, sweetie. So you're going to help with the laundry. Do you understand? And then let them go on. Then I might say, okay, we're finished discussing this. And then I might walk away. And just go on about your business. You're not ignoring her so much, but you're just going on about your business. I wrote down something. God, I've got to get this. Okay. Hope that answered. Yeah, with all the therapy sessions when she's getting in trouble. Oh, don't do that at all. Oh, do not do that. Your focus, you put your energy and your focus toward what you do want, not what you don't want. You put that, the behavior board is just like, okay, that's done. Now we're going to focus on the good kid. You don't want to put too much focus on the bad kid and talking about it. Okay. It's just doesn't work. So your energy goes where you want it to be. Go. So you want it to go to the good kid, not the naughty kid. Okay. I wrote this down. This is my biggest pet peeve in my business because it comes up every single day. It's these mini therapy sessions. Yeah, I know it's trendy. I get that. Don't ask me to judge it. Like, don't ask me to talk about who does it or anything. I don't know. I stay out of that. I stay in my own lane. Kids taught me all this. No one else I've never been influenced by anybody else teaching parenting. I've never read a book on it. I've never read about kids. I learned everything I know, that right or wrong, I've learned it all through kids. They taught me all of this. And they're the ones who told me to do this. They said, you got to teach this stuff, Lisa. Anyway, here about validating every single feeling and emotion. I'm going to get this point across if it kills me. It is even child psychologists, who by the way are often my clients, okay? So even child psychologists will say, if you don't validate it, all their feelings and big feelings, big emotions, you are damaging your children. That is a crock of crap, okay? Absolute garbage. Do you know why? Think about it this way. I prepared my kids for the real world. If they were acting like lunatics, there's no way I would validate anything around that. No way. Because I wrote this down. I'm going to do a video on this. And I said, the real world isn't validating their every emotion or feeling. So you're not preparing them for the real world. You do not need to validate every thought, every burp, every fart, every feeling, every big emotion. You just don't. Your silence, your calmness when they're acting crazy is teaching them. You're modeling calm behavior. That's what you want out of them. Okay, I use this same joke all the time. I don't know if anyone thinks it's funny. I think it's hilarious. It's when they turn into young adults and they go, you're not validating all my emotions. And the guy goes, I'm just the bus driver, lady. You don't want to raise someone like that, an entitled snowflake. This is where mental health comes from, I believe, because they're not prepared for the real world. They think everyone should be catering to every single little thought and feeling. You're doing them a disservice. Did that make any sense? Silence. Maybe not. Anyway, okay, next point. Do you know, I've been doing this for so many years. I started volunteering with kids when I was 11, and I'm 62 now. That was 51 years ago. I started volunteering with kids. I always ignored tantrums, and boy, it got good results. Really good results. There's no way I would validate anything around that crazy world. I'm up here filing my nails in the calm world. As soon as they join me, oh, do you want to go play a game? You see, they just learn. They learn that the crazy is not appropriate. Any attention is food. So you're not I don't feed that. Okay. Not me going to labor at gym at 5 a.m. Love some gym. Okay. I don't understand that. Oh, I was talking about fitness. Maybe you thought I was a fitness coach. I used to be, but I'm not anymore. But yeah, this is parenting, just in case you thought I was a fitness person or something. I do have another channel that I discuss everything, the most inane, stupid things in my life. I think I actually did a video on my underpants the other day. I deleted it. I thought, what am I doing? Just lack of filter. You make perfect sense. Okay, thanks for that. So it does make sense, does it? Okay, good. Because I won't go on about it. Okay. Well, I will, but not right now. Oh, by the way, this stuff takes a while. It doesn't happen overnight. Parents will say to me, well, I tried that. And I say, how long did you try it for? A weekend. It takes about 3 weeks to really start to get respect. Once they realize that you can make that behavior board work, all the other bad behaviors start to melt away. So you're only focused on 3 rules, 3 bad behaviors on those 3 behavior boards by the end of 3 weeks. 1 different behavior. I call them battles, 1 battle per week, a new one. Don't worry if you mastered the first one. As long as you're making that behavior board work, I don't care what they're doing. By about the 3rd week, you'll start to see things shift. They're going to go, wait a minute, they know what they're doing. They're going to start to respect you. That's the 3rd week is a real turning point. Okay. I'm going to go back to this sense of entitlement. 20 years ago, I remember saying this, and I said it on a live TV. They couldn't shut me up because it was live. And I said it on a live TV spot. I used to do a lot of media work. Anyway, and I said, 20 years from now, young people will have real struggles with mental health. because the trend was all this not negotiating. The trend was all this validating every single feeling and just precious little feelings, like there was no toughening up of kids, nothing. Parents were going in to rescue them. They didn't like the way the teacher was speaking to them. And I said, you're going to raise self-entitled snowflakes with mental health issues. I said that 20 years ago. Now, I'm not saying all kids are like that, but there's a real rise and a real increase in all that right now. And I predicted that. Not that I'm so great, but I understood where it was headed. I understood where those mini therapy sessions were headed. I understood we're validating every single thought and feeling that they have and trying to make everything fun and easy. How do we make school easy? How do we make chores fun? Why on earth would you want to do that? The real world won't do that for them. They get out in the real world, then they just can't cope. They have no strength, nothing formidable in them. They don't know how to cope with anything because you've been trying to put out the red carpet for them all their lives. You are doing them a disservice. Okay? You just are. I predicted that 20 years ago. And I'm not saying that to go, oh, good for me, but it's so obvious to me. And I was right. That style of validating every single little thought they have, look what's happened. Trying to make everything easy for them. It's not good. When my kids were 15, I made them go out and get a job, like a McDonald's or wherever. And I was hoping they'd have to clean a public toilet at least once. And they both did. I wanted them to understand that life isn't supposed to be fun all the time. You got to do what you need to do before you can do what you want to do. They both understand that they have to earn what they get. They had a great life. We traveled, we had a beautiful home, but I didn't hand them stuff. I was very strict about that. And I didn't want to make everything easy for them. They had a great home life. When they went out in the world, I didn't go and protect them. Unless, safety, obviously. Okay, my 5-year-old daughter doesn't treat her friends nicely. I don't have a set answer for that because there's too many reasons behind that. I don't know why. How is she treated? How does she treat you? Generally, when you have children who respect you and treat you well, they generally treat everyone well. It's just the way it is. They just develop that kindness and respectfulness, and they carry it everywhere they go by 5. By the age of 3.5, I call it the respect umbrella. So they carry your leadership umbrella everywhere they go. And your leadership is just about giving respect to get it. So that doesn't happen if you're a leader. So work on your leadership skills. My behavior board is where you start. That's free on my website, bratbusters.com. You can go on there and start there. If you want to hire me, you can do that too. My course starts in less than 2 weeks, 3 to 12-year-olds. I've already got people going through it, but they're a select few. They're helping me build it. So then it'll be ready to go out. It's a 5-week course that has group coaching in it. I'll be talking about this constantly once it's out there because I've been working on this for a very long time. Very excited. Okay. Her answer is always no, whatever I say. Is she 12 or 2? Like when they're 2, you ignore them. When they're 12, you go, whatever. Sorry, I'm getting dizzy scrolling. I have really bad problems with vertigo because I'm old, right? Evidently it's a you got crystals in your ear when you're young and they're all tightly packed when you're young. As you get older, they start to loosen and rattle around in your brain. That's what I keep hearing. And literally you can sometimes hear it when I'm really bad. Okay, teach me. I argue with my 8-year-old son as bad as a child. He drives me crazy trying to push my buttons. Yeah, he's got total control and he knows it. If you're allowing them to upset you, then they're in control. Just start with my behavior board. It's not about them, it's about you. It's teaching you it gives you something else to do. Like if they're driving you crazy, focus on that behavior board, 1 battle per week. The reason why we don't deal with more, because oftentimes when people hire me, they say, here's the 50 things I want you to work on. And I'm like, I'm going to pick 1. And they're like, wait a minute, I paid all this money. And I said, right. You're going to learn how to do this, right? 1 per week. By the 3rd week, if you've only dealt with 3 out of 50 behaviors, by the 3rd week, you'll see a whole bunch drop away, bad behaviors. They just start to respect you. That's all it is. Once you get respect, they're not disrespectful. They're not rude. They want to please you, or they certainly don't want to disappoint you. That's the leadership. Think about a really good sports coach. That's the most comparable relationship to my style of parenting. You're fun. You are meeting their needs. They need to have fun. Also, they need rules. So you know how to enforce them. Hey, you cheated out there. I saw you. So you're going to sit on the bench for an inning. Do you understand? Okay, then they come back and you're cheering them on, cheering them on. It's like that. You address the bad, but it's quick and it's done. You know what you're doing too, and it's done. And then you go, yeah, okay, let's go back, have fun. You don't remind them of what they did wrong. You don't put your energy into the bad stuff. You put it into the good stuff. And they will want to please you. They will follow you around like a Pied Piper. I've been called the child Pied Piper many times in my life. They will want to please you, and they're always good for you. I never put up with anything. I don't put up with a thing. So, and kids know that, and they want to please me. And then teenagers, they just don't want to disappoint you. You don't want them. You don't want teenagers to want to please you. You want them to have their own mind, their own like value system by them, but they don't want to disappoint you. They're still looking to you, but they're going to make up their own mind anyway. Things transition a great deal in the teen years. Screen time for 2-year-old, I don't have an opinion on that. You know, some families have no screen time for 2-year-olds, some or 10-year-olds, and some have tons. So that's your own personal choice. I don't have a set idea about that. It's like, I don't have an opinion on that, how much it should be. It's like homeschooling. Don't have an opinion on that either. That's up to you. Breastfeeding for years, I don't have an opinion on that. That's a personal choice. So you're going to have to decide how much screen time you want your 2-year-old to have. Yeah, you asked me about being a nanny. I only teach parenting. I can't help you help the parents. You know what I mean? Like, that's up to them. Okay, my tween tells me I'm emotionless. I always congratulate her on good grades. What should I say? I don't know. I don't know what you mean by that. Like, I was a total goofball, full of emotion. But if my kids ever acted out, I had none. I was like, excuse me? Oh, sorry, Mom. That was all it took. So you should have tons of emotions. You should have fun with your kids. You want to be best friends with your kids. But your tween says you're emotionless. Or is it just that, oh, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I'd have to investigate that to let you know. Sometimes I have to assess the situation. Like there's more. I'd have to dig into it to figure out exactly what's going on. Then you said, I always congratulate her on good grades. What should I say? Well, I don't know. What else are you doing? That's just one thing. It might not have anything to do with that. Plus, I didn't focus on grades. I focused on behavior, always. And once you're a leader and they respect you, they want to get good grades. They want to do well in everything because they want to make you proud. That's the power of leadership. You don't have to do anything. Just sort of, my kids were kind of self-disciplining. I didn't really have to do anything. Like I have no memory, literally, of ever telling them to do homework or go to bed. Not one. I have not one memory of that because they just did it. So yeah, all you have to do is set yourself up as a leader and everything falls in place. Everyone wants to know how you deal with that situation, how you deal with that. I don't know. If you're not a leader, none of it's going to work anyway. You got to set yourself up as a leader. That's the behavior board. That's the start of it. I use it with pretty much all my clients. You can do that on your own. If you want to hire me, I teach you how to make it work. Like lots of people are getting it to work on their own, but it depends on your level of what you're going through. But yeah, the coaching is the one-on-one. Let's make it work now. That's coaching. But if you can try that on your own. Lots of people are having great success with that behavior board without me. I'm beginning to be a leader finally for my tweens. They are not used to it and are wide-eyed. That, I'm going to tell you a funny situation. This happens a lot. When I'm coaching, and coaching is very different from this, okay? It's very, here's what you do, step by step by step by step by step. So, but one of the funniest things I do, and parents have often said this, it's when you go to the behavior board, let's say you have a 9-year-old and they've just broken the rule that's on the behavior board. You go to the behavior board and you go like this, okay, you broke the rule, and then what I want you to do now is pick up all the dog poop in the backyard. And then they start arguing. Okay, so this is a leader. They start arguing. And I've already sort of showed you this with a 3-year-old. And you look at them like that and you go, quietly, you just wait. As soon as they are quiet, you go. And then what you do, they start up again. You look at the reason why I'm coaching this works so well is we role play. I get them to do it for me. And then I coach them on how to be better at it. Anyway, they say this is so powerful. And their kids are like that. Like they just, and that's why it reminded me of that. Their kids are like, what the heck's going on here? Because you've always interjected with stuff. I don't do that. So anyway, finally you get through what they should do. And now they start screaming at you. This is a 9-year-old screaming at you. And they've said, well, I'm not going to pick up that dog. I say, fine, that was your choice. Okay. So if you didn't pick up the dog poop, the second consequence on there is 24-hour media blackout. That starts now. Do you understand? They're coming at you. coming at you, coming at you. And then I would say, this is a 9-year-old, remember, you don't do this with a 3-year-old because they wouldn't understand this. The 9-year-old's coming at you. And this is the funny part here. So then you say to them, well, you'll know next time, won't you? And walk away. The parents say, the kids are like this. Like they're used to you being involved in the argument, like on their level, like screaming and arguing. And then when you just do that, you say, well, you'll know next time, won't you? And walk away. And the parents say, wow, that one works. Or you can go like this. You can go, whatever, and walk away. But anyway, yeah, so it's good because they're listening to you. They understand that when you say something, you mean business. When I said something, my kids listened, and I never really had to discipline them. This was my form of discipline, was like this. Really? And that was pretty much it. Then they'd say, oh, sorry about that. How about no TV tonight? I'd say, oh, that's too much. Just brush my hair for 5 minutes. That was about this. This was my mom's form of discipline. This was it. I hated that look. I didn't want to displease my mom. Like I adored my mother. We were like best friends. I couldn't handle disappointing my mom. I just admired her so much. We were like best friends. I could tell her everything. That's what you want. You never want to have to discipline. Getting this all in place is hard, hard work. You got to work your butt off to get respect. But once you've got it, you just sail right through. Maintaining it is easy. Getting it is hard work. Is it worth it? 3 weeks of maybe hell, could be 6 weeks with teenagers, could be 3 months with teenagers. Is it worth it? I think so. You can be kind and assertive. Yeah, I don't know if this is assertive. I call it leadership. It's like a sports coach. If he catches a kid cheating and then he makes him sit on the bench, is that assertive? Is it unkind? No, it's just, hey, you broke the rule. That was your choice. I used to tell my kids, it's all up to you. You make good choices, you have a great life. You make bad choices, I'll make sure your life ain't so great. That's for sure. Like, that's my job. Your good life is good. Your bad life ain't so good. So they were always good. They just understood that. They were accountable for everything. Yeah, I know it was a response to a comment, but I wanted to go off on a tangent. Can you come by my house for a few weeks? I'll tell you something funny. I've been on TikTok now for a year, and because I got a big audience overnight, it just blew up. I have no idea why. Anyway, very grateful for that. Anyway, timing and everything. It was just the right time to hear this stuff because my methods are weird compared to what's out there. Anyway, I got offered, because everyone wants your audience when you get big on a platform. So I've been offered stuff like you wouldn't believe, but some of the things that have come my way since I've been on TikTok, and it hasn't happened once, is people have offered me the sum of money that would set me and my kids up for life to come out and live with them for a month. These are people with big money. And wow, just unbelievable amounts of money. And just to come out and you know what I say? Well, of course I say no, but you know why too? I mean, I guess no, I wouldn't do it. It just feels kind of weird. Anyway, and I said, well, what are you going to do when I leave? Like, sure, your kids would be great with me, but what do you know, and with you too when I'm there, but what are you going to do when I leave? You know, that's the hard part. Anyway, I'm going to do it. But yeah, I guess they just, if you have all that kind of money, you just rather pay someone to come on, do it, you know, and I totally respect that. I'm very, you know, I'm appreciative that they wanted that. But yeah, I can't imagine doing that. Oops, sorry, I'm flipping around here. I get dizzy when it flips, so I have to be really, that's why I miss so many questions, because I get dizzy. Okay, sorry about that. Kids play outside when they lose screens. Is this okay? I should remove screens and outside. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I'd have to assess that. How do you stop the no phase? Kids only do what works past the age of 3 to 3.5. So if saying no doesn't work, they just stop doing it. Like, I guess my kids, when they were toddlers, would say no. They might have tried it, but it didn't last long because it never got them any results. They learned pretty quickly that ain't going to get them nowhere. So kids past the age of 3 to 3.5 only do what works. They're not like us. We're stupid. I know I am. We keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Maybe this time it'll work. Maybe kids don't do that. They're not habit formed yet. They just aren't. They're not formed yet. I think maybe habits are formed with the frontal lobe. You know, that's not fully developed. They were 25. Now they're saying it's 27. So But yeah, maybe that's habits. Maybe that's it too. That's why you're so open to trying new things when you're young, because you're not so habitual. Anyway, but kids don't do that. They only do what works. If what they're doing isn't working, they eventually will move on and try and find out what does. So you make sure that the bad stuff doesn't work. This is what a lot of parents do wrong. And they're inconsistent. Some days they're great and they correct the bad stuff. Other days they're not. And that it confuses them. So you have to be 100%. I was 100% predictable. My kids knew exactly what I was going to do every single day. There was no question. Like, they just knew. So I was on top of that. And when they were really little, and they just learned. There's no point in being bad. Mom knows how. My son used to say, Mom knows how to take care of business. Oh yeah. So consistency is very, very important. Let me see here. Okay. Oops. Sorry, I got dizzy again. I'm getting dizzy a lot this morning. Okay, how do you start acting as a leader when they are under 3 and can't use behavior board? That's the consistent corrective actions. I have, and it's repetition. Okay, so I got respect when my kids were toddlers too, but they still would lose it sometimes because they don't have that thing of reasoning. Sometimes they can stop and reason when it depends. Does the urge take over? If a toddler the urges will take over reasoning sometimes. Sometimes they won't, but basically they go with urges, not reasoning. So they haven't got reasoning yet. They have no sense yet, but they're learning, they're getting it. But yeah, you just consistent corrective action. So if my kids had done something repeatedly, like let's say they hit the table with a remote control, I would say no, and I would take it away every single time. They're going to remember the one time you didn't. So you have to make it a job. You say, okay, I'm going to stop that behavior over the weekend, and you're watching them like a hawk. Anytime you let them have the remote or whatever it is, then you just watch them. Okay, you have to catch it every single time. They learn through repetition. I have a whole playlist on toddlers. I also have courses on my website for toddlers, not for toddlers, for parents of toddlers. So there's 3 of them on my website. I really like those courses, actually. I just hate the name of one of them, Toddlers Who Bite. I keep meaning to rename it. Aggressive Toddlers is what I want to call it. Why? I just get lazy because I get so busy doing all this stuff that going into my website and changing stuff is just a lot of work. Aggressive Toddlers. Okay, I'll rename that. Okay, I'm sorry you're so dizzy. Yeah, it's just because I'm old. I can't handle anything that flips. Like if anything flips and scrolls past my eyes, I got a whole bunch of stuff I just can't do anymore because you get old and your balance goes off. Do you know what's funny is I walk at the speed of light. Very rarely will I not pass everybody on a sidewalk. But if I walk slow, I can almost wobble. I almost get dizzy. But I got to keep the momentum of going straight and fast. It's weird. You'll understand when you're old like me. Thank you so much for all the information you give us. Seriously, you're amazing thing. Thanks very much for that. I'm on here for you. You know, I wouldn't be doing these. I'm on here pretty much every single day doing lives. I wouldn't bother if I didn't think I was helping. So your feedback helps me to keep turning up. So if I'm helping, I'll keep turning up. You get it. You're the same way, Jamie. Okay. Is that a picture? It's a tiny picture, but you're young to be dizzy. You're helping. Excellent. Someone. That's Marina again. I keep getting Marina on YouTube. Hi, Marina. I think my child has gotten used to doing chores when she misbehaves. And at the beginning, I started getting respect, but now it seems she doesn't care about my consequences. By the way, she barely has screen time. Okay, so you're withholding screen time. Yeah, you're missing something. I don't know what it is. You're missing something. That's why when people hire me, they'll say, I'm doing everything you said. And I'll say, well, tell me exactly what you're doing. And they'll go, and then they'll tell me and I go, oh, okay, you're doing that. So you're either doing something that's making it tank, you're kind of wrecking the behavior board, or you're just missing something. I don't know what it is. If you want to hire me, I could assess the situation and figure it out. But yeah, that happens quite often. People, I always say, if you're on the fence, whether you're going to hire me or start the behavior board on your own, and you're really on the fence, hire me first. You know, it works better if you haven't tried it and failed on your own. If you fail with me, that's fine. I can use that to our advantage because I know how to fix it up and use that to our advantage. Because I'm learning a lot too. I'm going to push you really hard to see where your points are. Like, I got to figure you out. So in session 2, we assess what happened in session 1. But if you're doing it on your own, you can't assess, right? So yeah, make sure that you pick a battle you know you can win. If I hire you, we're not going to do that. So sometimes we will. Depends on what's going on in your family life too. If you got 2 parents at each other like that, one wanted to hire me and one didn't, I'll probably pick a battle that they can win because I want to get that other parent on board. You see? So yeah, I got a whole bunch of tricks up my sleeve doing this for so long. Do you know what's really funny? Because I been doing this for so many years now. When I first started doing it, I was like in my early 40s, and I was younger than a lot of my clients. So it was almost, because I mother my clients, I'm quite bossy on there, because I'll get like this. I'll say, no, this is what you have to do. And they'll argue with me. And I'll say, no, I'm just going to sit here and wait till you agree, because I just know what they need to do, that next step. Anyway, but it was harder when I was younger. Now that I'm old, I never get parents older than me. Not that I know of. They all look a lot younger anyway. But yeah, it helps me in my business to be old. So it's a real benefit to be old, to have all the sags and wrinkles, because it gives me more clout, more mothering clout. Okay. I can't tell you how much you've helped. You make perfect sense. Thank you. You know what I would love, Kate? I would love you to send me an email. Tell me how I've helped you and what the ages of your kids are, and tell me how I've helped you. I'd like to know. And that goes for anybody. I'm very slow at getting to emails that aren't clients, or media work or whatever. But I'd love to know if I've helped you. How have I helped you? Don't send me parenting questions on there. I just don't have time for that. That's what this is for. But yeah, I would love to know. And what I'll do is I'll just maybe hit on those points a bit harder on here, because you are my TikTok audience. I've only been on TikTok for a year now, so I'm still learning about you. But before most of my clients were coming through referrals, and like through parents or doctors or psychologists or a lot of teachers in schools. So that's where and they were a different breed coming from those places. Now on TikTok, it's a different audience, right? Okay. You said I'm 66, a nurse. Keep in mind possible minute as we get older. Ear issues. Yeah, I know. Inner ear. I know all about that. I don't have Meniere's, but I know. Believe me, I had a really bad experience. Then I learned I can't drink coffee. It was decaf coffee and black tea. I cannot drink, or I will go spin, drop to the ground, and I can't get up. Wrecks me for 2 days. So that's how I learned. And I don't have Meniere's, but I'm that other one. There's 2 different things. But yeah, I know. I guess it's old lady stuff, right? Okay, you have a very motherly voice too. It makes me happy. That's cute. Oh, I am a mother. Actually, I was talking to someone the other day about this, and they were saying, well, how did this come about? Anyway, they were saying something like, well, parenting, I just don't know if I have the energy for it. And I say, you know what? This is a person who's listened to me talk about parenting. And I said, I'm not the norm. Because I didn't work. I was a stay-at-home mom for 17 years. I loved mothering, and I was out volunteering with kids. So my whole world was wrapped around kids. But that's me. There's most of my clients, they're not like that. You don't need to be like that to be a leader, because I know that, because my clients aren't like that. Most of them, they're not stay-at-home parents and just love it and never want to work, and during those years. But also you can still be a working mom and a working dad and still have all these results. Okay, so it's not just for people like me who was stay at home and did wallow in all this. And I had a lot of background with kids before I had my own. This works with anybody. It's about learning how to give respect to get it. That's all this is. But they said, yeah, I'll never be able to do this because I wasn't as devoted to parenting like you were. And I'm like, yeah, who was? I mean, why? How many people are teaching it? They love it that much. So most people aren't. And that's what I understand. I don't teach what I did. I teach what you need to hear. Well, I don't teach what I did. For the most part, because, yeah. Anyway, I do teach what I did, but not as a whole. Like I don't, I was engrossed in everything child. And my kids didn't stand a chance because I had so much experience, especially when they were teenagers. My son used to say, I didn't stand a chance. You knew exactly what to expect, because I mentored troubled teens. So anyway. Okay, cranky 13-year-old who likes to talk back. Yeah, you never address attitude because there's no point, okay? Attitude means they don't respect you, but you got to know when to cut and run. You got to know when to say this. Okay, I'll tell you what, we'll discuss it later, and then cut and run. Well, not run, but cut it off. So don't allow it to get to that point. I'm thinking that perhaps Your 13-year-old girl is tired of being lectured at and nagged. Potentially. That usually builds to cranky and talk back. So I think I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. But yeah, you listen to understand and then you shut up. Hard to do. Oh God, my clients complain about that. They say, geez, that's hard to do, but it works. You listen to whatever they're saying and then you just shut up. If you've got any advice, you can come in potentially later. There's kind of a way of doing that. But I don't get into that on here because it's a bit involved. But yeah, you listen to understand and then shut up. If they want your advice, they will ask. They just will. So what happens, what you're building here is trust and respect. So what you're building is they'll start telling you everything. Next thing you know, they're asking you, and what should I do? And this is how I'd answer. My kids would say, what should I do? Oh, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. And I said, well, I don't know. Let's figure it out together. And we'd talk about it. Wasn't always my way. It was sometimes their way. There's no perfect parent or perfect kid or perfect human being out there. We're all just trying to figure it out. Okay. Give them the respect of having a say on how their life goes. So yeah, maybe you're lecturing too much. That's my gut reaction. Um, okay. I think I'm going to have to go. Yeah, I've got an appointment coming up. I'm just trying to think, what have I got to do before the appointment? Have I got 9 minutes? No, I don't have to do anything. Okay, what I'll do is I'll do my outro and then I've got to run. Anyway, my name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go on my website, it's bratbusters.com. You can buy one of my courses, hire me for coaching, or you can download my free behavior board. That behavior board has been downloaded by thousands and thousands of people. I can't tell you how many emails I've got people saying it's worked. Then if it doesn't work, you're missing something. You're going to want to hire me and I'll teach you how to make it work. Every family's different. It's different advice for every family. But yeah, so that's all about parenting, and parenting to give respect to get it. That's my whole theory, is you got to give it to get it. You got to earn it. You got to work for that. Okay. I call it calm leadership parenting. I don't know why, but yeah. Okay. One more question. Okay, I'm going to answer this, but it might not be exactly what you need to hear because I'm not sure about all the details. My 11-year-old wants to go to his friend's street, but I'm nervous to let him. Yeah, I didn't really let my kids out a lot until they were 12. I was pretty strict about that. I drove them everywhere or would walk with them or bike with them and then let them go the extra distance so their friends didn't see their overprotective mother there. I was a nutcase when it came to safety because I've worked with so many kids who've been abused. And so, yeah, it made me a little bit of a safety net. But I gave them the dignity of the friends not seeing me walking them or driving them. But yeah, I don't know what to say about that because I don't know when you say want to go to their friend's street, is it 20 blocks away or 3 houses or 1 street away? If it was 1 street away, I'd probably let them walk, but I'd probably stand and watch them. So, and hide. My kids once, oh God, it's so embarrassing. My kids once caught me hiding in a bush. Just watching. Is that your mother? Yes, that's my mother. I was hiding in a bush because I was worried about them. And I didn't want them to know. So yeah, I'm nuts. Perfect? No. I know how to be a leader, but crazy? Yeah, a little bit crazy. I'm okay with that. Anyway, I got to run. Thanks so much for joining me. And like I said, if I've helped you, I'd love to hear from you. Email is lisa@bratbusters.com, or you can just find me in the contact page on my website, bratbusters.com. Tell me how I've helped you. Don't ask me parenting questions. I do all that here. But tell me how I've helped you, because then I'll sort of push that point more with parents, and I might be able to help parents, guiding them in the right direction. Anyway, thanks again. We'll talk again tomorrow. Bye now. How do you use it to your advantage when parents fail? This is for Marina. When parents fail on the behavior board, I can't tell you that because I don't know. I don't know how they mess up, but I know exactly what I do. But it's different with every single family. That's what coaching is all about. That's why it's coaching. It's personal. So I tell every parent something different. It's rare that I have the same. It's rare that I double up a session that's going to be the same. They're always different because I'm feeding off of their personalities because I get to know them. So anyway, I got to run. Thank you. Bye now.